So did you enjoy the first service? I don't hear you. Hey! So before we move to the main course, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Mrs. Kimberly Murray. Mrs. Murray is the independent special interlocutor, and we would like her to provide you with some welcoming remarks. Mrs. Murray, please. Big round of applause for her.
Merci beaucoup, Luc. Merci.
It's all yours.
Sego Serguego, Skinagoa, Kimberly Murray, Yungat, Skanyegahaga, Ni, Neganastatage. Bonsoir tout le monde. Je m'appelle Kimberly Murray et j'ai l'honneur d'être l'interlocutrice spéciale indépendante pour les enfants disparus et les sous-cultures anonymes. I am a proud member of Ganasatake Mohawk Nation, and I'm so happy to be hosting this 5th national gathering in the territory of my ancestors. We are so honored that each of you has traveled here from all over Turtle Island with the shared purpose of supporting each other in the search and recovery of the missing children. I acknowledge that we are gathering on the traditional territory of the Ganyegahaga, a territory that has served as a site of meeting and exchange among many Indigenous peoples, including the Ganyegahaga of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, the Abenaki, and the Anishinaabe. I also acknowledge that Jojaga continues to be home to many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. I want to acknowledge the drum and the songs that have been shared with us this afternoon and this early evening. Nawe to John, Elder John Cree, where did you go? For your opening words and prayers and for bringing our minds together as one. Nakrumik to Elder Emma Relis for lighting the kulik this afternoon. I also want to acknowledge the sacred fire and the sunrise ceremony this morning that was led by Elders John Cree, Stephen Silverbear McComber, and Thelma Nelson. Thank you so much for that beautiful ceremony this morning. I also want to acknowledge the firekeepers that will keep the flame lit over the next 2.5 days. It's a big job to tend to that sacred fire, and I want to thank everybody for respecting the protocols around the fire when you're attending the fire. And also thank you, Elder, for the spirit plate and for the beautiful ceremony for the chair. Je reconnais que la chaise vide a été placée ici pour les esprits des enfants qui, nous le savons, seront témoins de notre rassemblement au cours des prochains jours. Je vous encourage tous à offrir vos médecines traditionnelles à la chaise pour les enfants, afin qu'ils sachent que nous sommes là pour les aider et non leur faire de mal. Thank you to Grand Chief Skydeer and to Grand Chief Bonspiel for your warm welcome today. We're so grateful to be welcomed into the territory, and I know that everyone will respect the lands and waters as we gather here. I want to acknowledge all the leadership in the room tonight, including Interim National Chief Bernard and Senators Audette and Francis. I thank all leadership, Indigenous and non-Indigenous, for attending to show your support to the survivors and to the teams that are searching for the missing children. It is so vitally important that we all work together. Nous savons pourquoi nous sommes ici. Radiksa Aguna, pour les enfants, pour honorer et retrouver chaque enfant qui n'a jamais pu rentrer chez lui. Together, we honor these children collectively. We want to ensure that they are provided with the respect and the dignity that they deserve, so that their spirits can return home to be with their ancestors according to their family's customs and traditions. The sacred responsibility that each of you carry to find and recover the children was started by survivors. Survivors have been leading the way. I honor each survivor here today and all survivors. We recognize your courage, your determination, and your advocacy to raise Canada's collective awareness about the atrocities perpetrated against you, your families, and your communities. Canada, as a country, can no longer ignore the truth. As many of you know, Volume 4 of the TRC final report focused on the missing children in unmarked burials. The TRC heard, and I want to acknowledge former Commissioner Marie Wilson, who's also with us tonight. Thank you, Commissioner Wilson, for joining us. The TRC heard and saw many unmarked burials and believed that there are likely similar burials at the former sites of each Indian residential school and federal hostel across Canada. Nous savons aussi maintenant que les enfants étaient souvent envoyés vers d'autres endroits tels que les hôpitaux indiens, les sanatoriums, les orphelinats, les établissements de santé mentale, les foyers pour enfants handicapés et les maisons de correction ou les écoles industrielles. There are unmarked burials of children associated with all of these institutions as well. The TRC's sacred work of recovering the children was left unfinished. Calls to action 71 through 76 identify some of the steps needed to support communities with finding and identifying the children. Since being appointed the Independent Special Interlocutor in June of last year, my priority has been to meet with survivors, First Nations, Inuit, Métis leaders, Indigenous organizations, and communities to hear about the challenges and barriers that exist to identify the children and protect the burial sites. Earlier this summer, on June 16th, I released an interim report. The report identifies 12 areas of common concern that communities have shared with me. They include access to records, land, and funding, the urgent need for health and wellness supports, the lack of accountability and justice, and the increase in denialism in Canada. Tomorrow and Friday, we will hear from survivors. We will hear from the youth. I acknowledge the youth that have been working with us the last year, Indigenous leaders, experts, and technicians. I suspect we will hear about many of these same concerns and more. But we will also hear about how communities are overcoming these challenges, incorporating Indigenous laws, protocols, and ceremonies in their sacred work. We will learn how communities started their investigations and how they are following the truth, no matter where it takes them. And we will hear how the investigations are being led by survivors. They are Indigenous-led, with decisions being made by survivors, Indigenous families, and communities. J'espère que ce 5e Rassemblement national sera un forum de soutien pour le partage de connaissances entre les survivants et les communautés. I also hope to learn from you and receive advice on what you see is needed for justice and accountability. How do we obtain full reparations from Canada and the churches for their crimes against humanity that they have committed? And how do we ensure that the bodies and the spirits of the children are treated with dignity, respect, and honor that they all deserve? But first, tonight, I hope everyone has an opportunity to meet each other, nourish your bodies with the foods being provided, and that you all have a good rest before we embark on an important work that we need to accomplish tomorrow and Friday. Sur ce, je dis merci, thank you, marci, nakumek, miigwech, hayai, e nawagoa. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.